All right. Welcome, everybody. It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. The best new podcast, according to 10 of my friends, and 3 of them are right here with me now. Dad's turn to talk. I am Joshua Adam Naparstik. I am going to be the moderator this week, and here I am with 2 of my buddies. Let's start off first with a guy that I met in October 1999 at the University of Arizona. Watched some wrestling together, and we've been friends ever since. Mr. Derek William Tandro. Mr. Derrico, how are you tonight, my friend?
I was doing fine until you reminded me of how much time we spent together.
Lots of Monday nights.
Many a Monday. And Thursday/Friday.
That is true. Yeah, and pay-per-views. Let's not forget the pay-per-views.
Also correct.
Those were a lot of fun. That's where I met you, actually, was the pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
All right, very cool. Everything good with you?
Yeah, just started the new job. I was hoping that Bob was going to be the host of diversity training today, but that didn't happen.
That is awesome.
Well, the problem was that they already had me going at my company meeting, so
right, you were taking.
I was taking.
Oh, that is funny. That's the line of the night already. All right, well, that's the way of hitting a home run there, big man.
Hey, I am half Hispanic, so I can do it.
That's true.
That is true. Well, my other buddy, I have known a little bit longer, believe it or not. 1985, Bob. We met in elementary school, and we're friends, acquaintances throughout, and then became incredibly close in high school, and have talked ever since, and talked football, wrestling, movies, everything. And Bob is a diehard Florida State football fan, everyone. Knows everything about them. And yeah. Anyway, Bob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. For those that said that we knew each other for a long time, we became good friends in high school. Just wanted to share something with everybody.
Where he almost threw me in a swimming pool with him.
Yeah. But look, in all fairness, Josh, I do need to apologize to you because last week apparently I was pretty hard on you, constantly throwing clips at you and stuff. So Derek, I don't know if Josh told you or not, but he actually laid it on me during the week. And I actually have some footage from that if you'd like to see it.
Love to see it.
So yeah, it kind of hurt, but yeah, he laid it on me pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh God, I did. I had to
very
give you
boucher of you, Josh.
Have a buffet. Anyway, well, want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Had some pretty big news today, some football news that we'll be covering, as well as it is WrestleMania preview week. Yes, the Showcase of the Immortals, WrestleMania 40, 2-night event starting Saturday night and Sunday night.
Wrestling is good.
With funny. We're gonna go in depth with the matches and our predictions later on. Be kind of interesting to think what we all will think that will happen. And as far as the football news, gentlemen, very big news today as the Buffalo Bills have traded their best wide receiver, Stefon Diggs, to the Houston Texans for it's crazy. Bob's shaking his head. I'm shocked about it. I know Derek is shocked about it. Don't know what they're going to do with receivers because they got rid of Gabriel and Stefon Diggs. Don't know what they're thinking. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this. Let's start with you, Bobo, who's Mr. Football. What do you think about this, and are the Houston Texans now a serious Super Bowl contender with this happening?
Well, you see, here's the thing, Josh. They're already a serious Super Bowl contender. I told you last year that you needed to watch out for Houston, and again, your response, no, you don't know who they got. But I'm telling you that they already had some talent to begin with. I like the fact that they've already got Nico Collins and Tank Dell should come back healthy. And now you add Diggs into that mix. On paper, that should be a very good wide receiver room. Now, I say on paper because the thing with Diggs that we know is that he is an alpha wide receiver and he demands the football. And you already have an alpha wide receiver with Nico Collins. Well, maybe he's still young, so we don't know if he's going to turn into that true alpha, but he was sure looking like an alpha last year. And so I'm curious to see how that dynamic is going to be in the wide receiver room next year. And then when you throw in Joe Mixon into the mix, it's not like you could just go one-on-one with the wide receivers. You're going to have to double up some of them, but then you got to watch out for that running game. I think, yeah, on paper, they should be serious contenders.
Where do you think they go in terms of the draft now? You think they go defense, or do you think they work on the offensive line?
Well, they already have a pretty strong offensive line, but maybe they shore it up a little bit. But I think they'll probably go on the defensive side of the ball.
Okay, nice. Derico, Mr. 49er fan, what do you think? And a D'Amico Ryans fan as well. They're the Texans head coach. Were you shocked? Were you shocked by this?
I was I was sad when D'Amico left. He was very, very loved here. The players miss him still to this day, but I'm happy that he's getting a shot at a head coaching position. Kyle Shanahan is a big believer in letting his coaches who work under him go to other places if they get the opportunity.
Better places, right?
What's that?
Better places, right?
Yes, the New York Jets was perfect for Saleh. Absolutely great.
That's a good point there. Yeah, that's very good.
Thank you.
See, I don't care what Josh says about you. You're all right. You know your stuff.
I can hold my own. Look, Mom, I'm cool. All right. So, I think that they were, like Bob said, already serious enough as contenders. This is only gonna make them more threatening, and that is good receiver work on paper, like Bob said. But draft wise, they probably will go defensively. But I also think that their defense is pretty strong as it is right now too. I'm a big fan of their linebacker. What's his name? Blake Cashman? Am I getting that right?
Blake Cashman.
Yeah, I thought he might be a linebacker.
Who was that linebacker they took out of Alabama?
Oh my God. That is so funny. I see his face.
You know who I'm talking about? He was their first round pick.
Yes,
I do. Not Turner. I've been so focused on this year's draft that.
Well, he was a first round pick along with Stroud. So.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's just. Oh God, it's going to drive me crazy. Let's see. We'll just look it up because why not? Houston Texans first. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Now, of course, when you ask it, it says, hold on. First round draft pick in, let's do 2023. There we go. Why isn't it?
Oh, wait. It wasn't a linebacker. Oh, it was defensive end, Will Anderson, right?
Will Anderson. Well, he plays both, right? He's a hybrid.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it was Will Anderson. So you've got that. Honestly, for some reason, I'm thinking they draft a tight end. I don't know why. Who's their tight end?
They already got Dalton Schultz.
They do.
I was about to say, why would if anything, you'd be fine. If they maybe could use some work on their secondary defensively. They got a couple cornerbacks, but I think they could beef that up.
I would not be surprised though if Buffalo does some sort of trade up to try to get in there and maybe get Marvin Harrison Jr. or neighbors from Washington. I don't know. I don't know what. And this is another great question for both of you. Does Buffalo now not win the AFC East? Are they
Josh, the
going.
Dolphins are not winning the AFC East.
You're gonna have to get over that now. Okay.
Oh, I'm not even talking about. I'm just curious about Buffalo.
Seriously, to answer your question, Josh, the Bills are going to have a tough time, but here's at the end of the day, if you look at the way they play, if they can just get a wide receiver who can get a little bit of separation, they should be fine. Because at the end of the day, Josh Allen's still going to take off with his legs, and as long as he stays healthy, he's still their number one option carrying the football.
That's it right there. As long as Josh Allen is healthy, they stay a threat. That's it.
Is McDermott on the hot seat this year, gentlemen?
It
Was
depends.
he already on the hot seat?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what their record
yeah.
is.
I mean, based on the playoffs, yeah.
But if he can get into the playoffs again, I mean, far enough down the line, I don't think you can't just fire somebody for being, a great coach. And maybe they're going to, maybe they've had enough of him from a patient's perspective because he keeps getting to the same place and he can't get over the hump. But if you take him out of the picture, then you never know who's going to replace him. You might not be back. So,
true.
I do think they have some talent at the wide receiver spot. I liked Khalil Shakir last year. I thought he looked decent. So maybe they can pull, a good draft pick or two and have them on those rookie contracts where you can turn around and not have to worry about paying them. And then hopefully, it turns out that one of them is a gem. So, and like I said, at the end of the day, Josh Allen is still their biggest threat.
And by the way, Derek, you said something about they're just not going to fire a coach who's done well. Bobby probably knows where I'm going with this. The Chargers went 14-2, lost to New England, and they fired Marty Schottenheimer. First time ever.
They're also the Chargers. Okay, that's not saying much.
I don't know. I definitely Buffalo's got to do something. They gotta go deep in the playoffs, I think.
I will mention one thing though, that it's hard to be a defensive-minded head coach in this league right now.
Yeah,
it's a very tricky
I agree
thing
with
to do.
you. Yeah.
And
which
so
is amazing how D'Amico Ryan's doing it. It's amazing.
Yeah, but you look at just what was it a couple of weeks ago where they turned around and said that you can't turn around and do that hip drop tackle anymore.
Yeah,
and they've already made it to where a lot of the hits on the quarterbacks aren't legal anymore. So it's gotten to the point where, like Derek said, it's hard to be a defensive minded coach, not just from the fact that offenses are putting up more points, but the rules and everything are skewed towards the offenses.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, it's true. Look what Kansas City has done. But Kansas City this year had a defense.
Yeah. You're going to have to be really good at your scheme to shut some of these teams down because, like I said, the at the rate they're going, soon they're going to be, instead of tackling people, they're going to be pulling flags.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what Michael Strahan said this past week. That they're not too happy about it.
I tell you the matchup to get amped for right now is going to be Houston and Tennessee. Those games are going to be good.
Yeah.
Those games are going to be very, very good.
That's right. Could be very interesting. I mean, right now, I would say, wouldn't you guys agree, Houston to win the AFC South?
Yeah.
Unless Tennessee can somehow really turn it on, which they got enough talent there where they could shock some people. But I'd probably go with Houston. I think Houston's a safe bet.
Tony Pollard's going to be he's such a different type of runner than Derrick Henry was. It's going to be interesting.
He's going to be a gem for them.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I do.
And then didn't they get Calvin Ridley also?
Yeah, they did.
Yes, they did.
Which was shocking to you.
So with their quarterback and a couple of good wide receivers there, and then Pollard in the backfield, that's good. That's a good football team right there, at least on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And then they took Mason Rudolph as backup to Levis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll see what happens. Anything else, boys, about this blockbuster trade today? Anything else you want to say?
Never seemed like Stefon was really happy in Buffalo toward the latter part of that. So on to greener pastures.
Yeah, he did complain. He did complain, and we'll see what happens.
A
He
lot.
actually had a second round pick from the Vikings, his former team. So we'll see what happens with it all. Football
luck,
season
Mr.
draft is
Diggs.
coming up. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
draft coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that should be
And,
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be very fun. All right. Well, anything else, guys, or should we go on to our main topic of the evening?
Wrestling. Wrestling is good.
Oh, gotta love Henry Winkler.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, as you know, as we talked about, it is WrestleMania week. I have had many people ask me if we were going to do a preview of it, and I said no. Just kidding. And so, yeah, it's a 2-night event. I think even the non-wrestling fans, when you say WrestleMania to them, they know WrestleMania. As you know, WrestleMania, it's the 40th anniversary, started in March of 1985 from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden in New York. I remember renting that WrestleMania. Bob, you'll remember this place at Major Video?
Heck yeah.
Remember Major Video?
Heck yeah.
They used to have all the WrestleManias, and that main event was pretty darn big with Hogan and Mr. T versus the biggest heel at the time, Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff, with Cowboy Bob Orton, Jericho's favorite wrestler. Why do we like Cowboy Bob, Derek?
Because he's like 70-something years old and you still hate his guts.
And he still has the broken arm.
He still has the cast.
Still uses the cast. So yeah, it was, a huge success. And, we can go to like WrestleMania 3, where it was at the Pontiac Silverdome. And, they've definitely focused on the big stadiums. It was at the Hoosier Dome. And then later on, they went to Miami, I remember. They went to Orlando. Well, this year they have decided to hit the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which is known for one of Derek's all-time favorite wrestling organizations, ECW. And it's going to be very interesting with, The Rock and Reigns. We all saw, last time they were in Philly with The Rock and Reigns was Royal Rumble 2015, and they all started booing Reigns, and it kind of changed everything.
Not a good look.
Yeah, definitely not a good look. So it'll be interesting this year. So why don't we, let's actually just start off with something a little different. Guys, any favorite memories of WrestleMania before we start this?
Go ahead, Derek.
Oh, okay.
I await the word of Vigo.
My favorite Mania would be the one.
That's it. We're getting 1 million subscribers.
You like the wrestling, yes?
How's the ABB?
Oh, okay. That's out of the way.
That should give us 1 million right there.
Yep. You, Josh, you forgot about the WrestleMania that we saw together that some would argue is the best of all time in X7.
X7 in Houston. That's right, at the Astrodome at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so good. Oh, that's our favorite one.
If you go back and watch it, it still holds up too, I bet. I haven't seen it in a while, but man, that was a really, really good one. And then from there, many others. Many other memories. I was a big fan of Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, also in Houston.
That's great. Yep.
And then they also did, I think, the year after that in Phoenix, if I'm not mistaken. Was that WrestleMania?
Yep.
Let's see. Of course, Daniel Bryan getting his big moment. They had one and one only WrestleMania in the Bay Area, which I'm hoping they come back, but I don't know. It might be hard. But it's the one and only that Sting actually showed up at. So it's a memorable one.
That is. So,
yeah, good memories all around. What's not to love? It's the most wonderful time of the year. I don't know what they'll be talking about, that Christmas stuff. They can get out of here with that. This is the most wonderful time of the year.
That's true. What about you, Bobo? We've watched some. Have we watched Manias together ever?
I don't think so.
I
I
don't
mean,
think we
you and
have.
I watched some other pay-per-views, but I don't think
Yeah,
we've
but
ever
never
seen a
Mania.
Mania together.
No, we never watched the Mania. Go ahead.
For me, I'm more old school as far as my favorite memories. Obviously, the Mega Powers exploding is one of my all-time favorite memories. And then, of course, during that whole match, you got Jesse Ventura's like, "Look, there's Lus Hogan and the
Look at
the luster." So I remember that one. Obviously, I liked WrestleMania 18 with The Rock and Hogan. Just the crowd is what made that. And I remember watching an interview with Kevin Nash and X-Pac years later, and they were both talking about how they thought Hulk Hogan was the greatest pro wrestler of all time. And they were saying, you look at the fact that he was like 48, 49 years old in WrestleMania 18, and he literally stole the WrestleMania away from everybody else on the card. Nobody cared about the main event after that point.
No.
And then even the next year, he put on a great show with Vince McMahon in that street fight that they had. So, you know, even at that age, he was able to still get it done because he just knew how to work a crowd. So WrestleMania 18 is one of my favorite. And this is just going to be real off the wall. But one of my favorite WrestleMania moments is when Shane McMahon fought The Undertaker. I love when I love when Shane went off that cage to try to get The Undertaker. And of course, The Undertaker moves and they're like, Shane's dead. He's gone. So, you know, I just thought it was great because Shane McMahon, he's not exactly one of the all-time greats or anything, but he held his own against The Undertaker.
Good memory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and The Undertaker, I mean, you don't get any more WrestleMania than The Undertaker, and to be able to hold your own against him when you're not even one of the main performers, I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I agree with Derek. We loved X7. That Mania was just amazing. I remember us sitting there and watching it, and William Regal is the first guy to come out. And Bob, do you remember? This wasn't the man's man, which you always said, but this was. He came out and he waved, and Derek just gets up and he goes, "Hello, hello." I always remember that. It was just like
I love Regal. So Josh knows that. I love Regal.
I'm a man's man.
I still remember one of the Raws when Scotty Too Hottie was turning around talking to him and he's just going off, and then he's like, "Yo, I didn't understand the bloody words you just said."
It's so true. For me, my all-time favorite is WrestleMania 3. It's pretty much what I got when I got into it. I remember having that WWE magazine with Hulk and Andre, and you know, the Steamboat and Savage match was amazing. I agree about the whole Shawn Michaels versus Taker thing. That was incredible. And it's funny, Bob, you mentioned WrestleMania 19. Derek and I were so bored by that Mania. Do you remember that? All of us were together. We were talking, and all of a sudden, Hogan and McMahon are wrestling, and Piper shows up. And we all like stood up towards the TV, and we were like, Roddy Piper. Like, it was just crazy. I still think I need to go back, though. And wasn't that the match with Michaels and Jericho?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch that again because I think we didn't really pay attention to that match. And from what I remember, it was a pretty good match, right?
Actually, if you go back and watch all of 19,
yeah,
it's all pretty dang good. I forgot how good it was. I somehow ran into that, a couple of years back, and it still holds up. It's pretty good.
Okay. Which other one would I say? I mean, they've all been good. I mean, last year's was good except the ending, which drove me crazy, as we all know.
But Josh, look at it in the long run. They've actually done more business out of it, so it turns out it was the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
They have. I don't know if we would have got if Cody had won. if Cody had won, we probably would have gotten Rock and Reigns this year. No title,
Probably.
right?
And I don't think it would have been the same as what they've got right now.
No,
This
what
is
they
simply
had
because they
was
made the
amazing.
decision that they did. Now, I don't think that initially they intended it for it to turn out this way, but it turns out it was the right decision.
I mean, Raw the other night was amazing.
That was a good one.
That was amazing. I mean, the way they did it, and Rock took some stuff, which was cool. Just so
Roman finally cut a good promo.
Oh yeah, no,
Wait,
it was
wait.
He always cuts a good promo.
yeah. Anyway, we're gonna get to that in a minute, but let's go ahead and start off with night one this Saturday. My wife and I are going out, but I'll be watching it sometime that night.
You should have
anyway,
kept that to yourself, Josh.
Yeah.
I know.
You don't say stuff like that on Dad's turn to talk.
I know.
Shut up!
I saw kind of an interesting match. Bob and I were kind of talking about it the other day. It's Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Rey's son, Dominic Mysterio.
Boo!
And I don't know if you think this, Derek, but we were like, they had a great thing last year, but we haven't heard anything between Rey and Dominic in a year. And it's almost like they're like, we don't know what to do. We're just going to throw them together now and attack him. So let's go ahead and start with you, Derek. What are your thoughts on this match, and who do you think is going to win it?
So I think you're right. You know, there really wasn't much happening with the whole LWO Legato thing. I think they were hoping it was going to be bigger than what it was, and it just didn't look like it gained the steam to get to Mania. So why not put Dominic back with Rey? It's an instantly watchable feud with those two. I think that it's good for what it is. There's really kind of no other places that I think Rey or Dominic or Santos could have ended up unless it was something like this. So, okay, nice little tag match to have on the card. There's nothing against it. It's just kind of going to be, I think, a little bit of filler. But it'll be decent enough. It's not like the folks in the match can't have a good match, so that'll be good. I think that Rey and Dragon Lee will win, but that is going to set up Dominic and Rey at Backlash, and I think that's the rematch.
Interesting. Okay.
I think France is going to get a treat.
Okay, what about you, Bob?
I do think that this match was shoehorned in there. I don't think it's a bad thing to put Rey against Dom again, because Josh and I, you and I've talked about this. Dom is so over right now. The way he gets booed, nobody else gets booed like that. He's great, and he's a better performer than what I think people used to give him credit for. He's become a good performer, and in fact, I was telling Josh about this and that on Raw a few weeks ago when he was fighting Gunther. He was great at that match.
Yeah,
he's sitting there taking all these flips every time he gets chopped and whatnot. He was great. So,
he got beat down in that match.
Yeah, he was great. And so I think this was, they wanted to have Rey Mysterio in there. You can't have the 40th anniversary and not have an active Hall of Famer on your roster in the 40th anniversary. And then again, Dom is so over right now. You can't not have him in WrestleMania. So I think it was just a way to kind of shoehorn them in together. Now, I actually disagree with you, Derek. I think Santos and Dom are going to win this one. Okay. I think somehow the Judgment Day will get involved. They'll win it. And I do think that'll set up a rematch once again between Rey and Dom. I agree with you on that, but I think Dom's going to get the victory this year.
Okay.
Okay. So, going into this, I was thinking of Rey and Dragon Lee winning, but as we're sitting here and I'm listening to both of you, I forgot that Rey beat Dominic last year. So I can kind of lean towards Escobar and Dom winning.
There you go.
And both, I agree, setting up maybe Backlash, Dom versus Rey. Where it's in Paris, right?
Yep.
And so that could be an interesting treat. Who knows? Treat for the fans. But yeah.
Now you're thinking, Josh. Now you're
I
thinking.
think they just threw.
I
it
don't care what
together.
Derek says about you. You're on top of your game here. I want you to know that.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't
Hey,
think you're the weak link of the show at all. I want you to know that. So
None at all.
But no, I think they threw this match together. I
Yeah,
think
they
they
did.
were like,
Yeah.
we don't know where to put Dom in, this card. What are we going to do with Ray? And Ray's been injured, right, Derek?
Yeah, he got
So,
I think it was his knee again,
okay.
something like that. Yeah.
So the Heat, they're like, they already have heat with each other. Just put them together. So that's where I think. All right, next match they have Bianca Belair, the former women's champ, Naomi, who was just brought back during the Rumble from TNA, and the newbie, Jade Cargill, who was the longest running TBS champ in AEW, versus Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kari Sane, who just turned on Bailey, which we were all waiting for. Interesting match. What do you guys think? Bob, you go first.
I could care less about this match. I'm going to be honest. I could care less about it. The only thing I'm interested in, I want to see Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, both of them take, two of those little ladies from Damage Control, put them up over their head and just launch them into each other. Kind of like what they did in the Rumble. That's what I'd like to see. Otherwise, I don't really care about the match. I do think that Belair, Cargill, and Naomi are going to win, though.
Okay, Derek?
I do think it was kind of weird, though, that they didn't have the Kabuki Warriors actually defend the tag titles.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree.
I think this was a way that they wanted to get Jade on the card, and they already had the established partnership between Belair and Naomi. So it was like, okay, well, let's just kind of get Cargill onto the card, and we'll do a 3-way or a 6-way tag. But otherwise, I really could care less about the match.
Okay, Derek, what do you think?
This is perfect timing. I want you guys to watch this. Stay with me.
Huh? What is going on?
See what I just did?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I went to the concession stand. That's what I would do if I was there.
What?
Yeah, you're right there, Derek. This is definitely a time you go to the toilet and you go to the concessions and
Go ahead and give your legs a stretch.
if you got to pay your phone bill. This is the time to go do it.
Yeah, exactly. If you just got some, bookkeeping, you got to finish your taxes, all that good stuff. Okay.
Wow.
Now that that's out of the way. A little bit of a point of order. I heard that it was actually supposed to be Jade and Nia Jax this year at Mania.
Right. Yeah, I heard that too.
But the problem is that Jade was, in essence, supposed to squash Nia because Jade's not totally ready yet, which is why she's in the match that she is. But they didn't want to hurt Nia like that either. That would make her look pretty bad. So
How is she not ready at this point?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I don't know. And I don't think she's going to be totally around after Mania. It seems to me like she just got thrown into this, which is fine because you introduced her at the Rumble. You're going to have to do it now.
Right.
She's got enough camouflage, all around. So I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm surprised Bianca isn't in a more high-profile match. That's kind of shocking.
I agree. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they have the women's title match between Becky and Rhea. And of course, you've got Bailey and Io. I mean, what other high-profile match could you put her in?
Well, unfortunately, the one you could put her in is missing from the equation. That's Charlotte. I thought that was going to happen this year, but can't happen. So, sorry, Bianca. It's just one of those years. But Lord knows you put on some good shows before at Mania. I'm sure you'll come back with another one. It seems
Derek,
to me
you mentioned that you think Jade's just going to disappear again right after this.
I don't think she'll disappear fully, but I don't think she'll be around, on a permanent basis.
Hey, as long as she keeps posting on Instagram and X, I'm good because I'm a poster. Yeah.
And on that note, all right. I do like the way Damage Control. I like the look of that stable. That's a very cool look. It looks like something out of Kill Bill. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I will admit, like it was a cool shot watching Bianca, Jade, and Naomi pointing to the sign. They looked like a bunch of comic book characters. It's very animated, this match. A lot of colors and things happening. So
Right.
I'm sure it'll be just fine. Go enjoy. I'm gonna get a hot dog. Bob, you want to come with me?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Get some cheese and crackers, some of those little cocktail weenies.
Waiting for that. I've been waiting for that. So I agree with you guys. Obviously, Bianca, Naomi, and Jade are going to win this match. Sad about the women's tag titles. You bring them in, defend them at Mania. My God, why? I don't get it.
I think it's again because they wanted to shoehorn Jade Cargill in there. If anything, they should have had Belair and Naomi go against the Kabuki Warriors.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I think.
Now, then I would have cared.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because Derek and I had watched Jade Cargill in AEW, and so I'm not understanding what she's missing in WWE, where they're trying to take it. I can't even tell you guys it's taking it slow. It's like, well,
you see, that's what happens when you end up skipping college and you went straight from little leagues into the big leagues.
Oh, there we go.
Like AEW is the little leagues, and she jumped into the big time.
I'll tell you what, Tony Khan's money is not little leagues there, big guy. So
who cares what his money is? Their product is the little leagues.
I disagree. I disagree with you 150%.
That's pretty cute. How old are you, kid? 11? 12?
Oh, God. Unreal. But on that note, I would have loved to see Bianca face Jade Cargill. I think that would have been a decent match. So I have no idea.
You gotta save that for the other manias. Remember, there's some down the line here.
I know. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they can give a good match. All right, the next one. My God, this is a big one. The 6-pack ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. We have the champs, Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Finn Balor versus Awesome Truth, The Miz and R-Truth versus DIY, Derek's favorite tag team, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa versus The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate versus A-Town Down Under. That's a great name. That's an A+ right there. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. And apparently, so this could be interesting. You guys can correct me. You probably will. But they announced on Raw that a tag team has to get both sets of titles. Now, Bob thinks you just grab both of them and you're the champ. I think it's not going to happen that way, and that one team is going to get like the Raw tag titles, bring them down, and another team is going to get the SmackDown titles. Not sure. Let's go ahead and hear what you guys have to say. Derica, what do you think?
Initial thoughts just on what you said. That seems awfully convoluted.
I agree.
Right.
That seems like a really muddy way to do that.
I think you're just overthinking this one, Josh, because at the end of the day, if that was going to be the stipulation, I think they would have already announced that True. If you get those titles, that your team is those champs, and then to be undisputed champs, you have to get both of them. But no, the way I interpreted that is just to end the match, you have to have possession of all 4 belts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead, Derek.
Getting on with the rest of it. Do that on like a Raw or SmackDown. If you're really going to do that, just figure it out there. You don't need to do that at Mania. Confusing people is the last thing we need to do.
Okay.
Initial emotional pull is for Awesome Truth, I think, by everybody, because our truth is awesome.
Yeah.
And the stuff that he's done with
Where are all the
Miz-
guys at? Where are all the guys?
My bad.
the minute he showed up at a Royal Rumble and pulled out a ladder and started climbing it looking for the briefcase,
Yes.
that's
Brilliant.
an A plus.
I love how a couple of weeks ago, for the pay-per-view in Australia, he went to Austria instead of Australia.
Yeah. You wonder where everybody was. Why didn't the car come to get me?
It's so good. The guy made Brock Lesnar start laughing.
Yeah. When you
I
can do
mean,
that,
come
you
on.
win.
Yeah. Like Lesnar begged to have a match with him.
Yeah. It's so because we love R-Truth so much, obviously our hearts are gonna move that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But thinking more along the business side of the house, apparently Hunter hasn't been too happy with the fact that the tag titles have kind of gotten lost in the shuffle. It's nobody's fault. It's just how things turned up.
Right.
He really wants to kick up the tag division again, and you can tell by having this match that he really does want to do that.
I think I know where you're going with your answer. I have a feeling.
Which means I think New Catch Republic may be kind of a dark horse in this.
Oh, wow. Okay, I did not think you were going there.
Yeah. You were thinking I was going to go DIY, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to spark attacking and NXT.
Yes. But also, what are them? Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne are some of Hunter's he imported those guys as well from Britain. They were in his little United Kingdom tournament that he did the first time around. They're actually in the finals together. They faced each other. So they are also some of Hunter's favorites. So it wouldn't surprise me if either DIY or New Catch Republic won. I think people may be looking for a little bit of a shock, and I think that would be great if it were those two.
Yeah.
But you can't. I got to pick one, right? Okay. I think I'll go with Awesome Truth. We need to give our truth his due.
Okay, that sounds
Shout
good.
out-
Pablo, what do you think?
Can we just
go
say
ahead.
shout out to the New Day for getting some comeuppance here as well? It's been a while since they've been in a Mania. They deserve a round of applause for.
No, I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
And by the way, somebody asked me real quick the other day who I thought, and I didn't realize how many guys were in this ladder match. And I actually said, "Oh, I think the New Day is going to win." I'm changing that, but I just, for some reason, I don't know why.
Okay. Good
Go
to
ahead,
know.
Bob.
So I'm gonna say I would not be surprised if they put the belts on the New Day for WrestleMania 40 and just the New Day's history with the tag titles. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. Plus, I think it's going to play in. I don't think Finn Balor and Damian Priest walk out with those titles, and because I think they're going to do something else with this, and we'll get into that in a bit. But I do think that they're not walking away with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they put it on the New Day. But I kind of agree with you, Derek. I think they're going to put it on Awesome Truth. I think R-Truth is really over right now. The Miz had a resurgence with his face run, especially when he was going up against Gunther. And I think this is a good opportunity to put a title on both of them.
Nice. I would love for Awesome Truth to get it. I'm cheering for them. I'm going to go with DIY. I don't know. I just have this feeling, this big ladder match. Could just picture Gargano and Ciampa on top of the ladders holding the belts. You know, Hunter's guys, I don't know. Like I said, I really thought maybe New Day. Like Bobby said, it's WrestleMania 40, you know. They're still around. Are they as popular as they once were? No. I don't think so. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. It's good, you know, going to be your standard ladder match. People going through stuff. So yeah, I'm going to say DIY. All right, the next one. Now, actually, I need Derek's expertise on this one because we have brother versus brother, Jay versus Jimmy Uso. Now, I just saw something the other day where they said 3 times in the history of WrestleMania has two brothers faced each other.
Mm-hmm.
This one, Owen versus Brett, and yes, for the life of me, I can't remember the third one, Derek. Do you know?
Matt
I'm
and
putting
Jeff,
you on the spot. Which one? Which Mania?
25.
Wow. Okay. That's
Yep.
awesome. I knew you would know. I could not think of it.
Yeah, it wasn't even. It wasn't really worth remembering. If we're going to be honest about it.
Maybe that's
Yeah, I don't know. The thing about the Hardys is that, and I feel this way about the Usos too. People don't want to see those two fight. They're too good together.
Hey, it's not very oozy.
Not Usi
You're
at all.
not being very oozy. God, I missed that. That was so good.
So anyway, go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
No, so okay, Bob. Let's go with you. Who do you think in this ultimate battle, brother versus brother, Jay versus Jimmy? Who do you think wins and why?
Jimmy wins.
Interesting.
Because we're
Okay.
Solo in all of this. He's not on the card. So I think Solo gets involved. I wouldn't be surprised if The Rock even makes an appearance. And in this, and at the end of the day, because I do think we'll get to that in a little bit, but I think this is an opportunity to get a victory for the bloodline. So I think Jimmy wins. Now I'd love to see Jay win it because Jay is extremely over right now.
Yes.
Right.
So, but I think they're going to use this as an opportunity to put a W in the bloodline column.
Okay. What about you, Derico?
Bob's got me thinking now.
Right.
I do think it's going to be Jay only because I think this is one and done. I don't think they're going to continue this because I don't think people are really into it like they wanted them to be. I mean, honestly, do you guys really want to see these two wrestle? Or I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but it doesn't seem like this one feels like WrestleMania to me. I don't know.
All right, I'm going to be honest. To me, it feels like the B team. And the reason why I say that is because you've got all the A-listers that are in the bloodline, and on the opposite side, they're all going against each other in main event. It feels like this is the B team. And that's not a knock on Jay, because again, I think Jay is extremely over right now. But yeah, it just feels like a match that, again, I think is going to be pretty good, but it's not necessarily, it doesn't have the hype that it should. And I agree with you, Derek.
Yeah. I was thinking that this should have had some fuel push behind it. This should have been one and done. It should have been Hell in a Cell.
Interesting.
Oh,
just make it count for all it's worth. And
that could have been good.
They didn't go that route. Jay, I heard on a podcast, and he did get me amped for the match because he said the same thing that he said on Raw. He said in essence, I miss my brother, I miss my twin. We were linked. We've been linked together all our lives, and now we're not. But then he said something along the lines of, "But you guys know what it's like out there with brothers. You know how you guys do it, don't you? So where you want it, Jimmy? You want it front yard, side yard, backyard, basketball court, baseball field, football field? Let's take it back. You want some punches? Let's go."
Interesting.
And that was the only time I was actually excited for this match because Jay got me excited for it. So good on you, Jay. You're doing a great job. So I guess I'll go with Jay only because I think this is going to wrap up. And Jay is super over right now. And not that he would lose steam because of that, but if this is just going to be a wrap of a feud, I think you want to give it to Jay just to keep the momentum going.
Okay. It's funny because you mentioned about this is one and done. This is nowhere near as big as Brett versus Owen was. You know what I mean?
I am not a nugget.
I'm an aardvark. Woo! But I think with this one, well, they had wanted to wrestle each other at Mania. But I agree. I don't, Jay and Jimmy, they wanted to wrestle against each other. So I think that's why they've done this. But they could have made this so much more personal, than it was. I'm going to say Jay wins. I think Sika could show up, I don't think The Rock will show up, and I'll tell you why. This is
Did you call him Sicko?
Siko.
Solo.
Sikoa.
I thought it was Sika Solo. No?
Shut up!
Oh, God. All right. Well, whatever. He's 0-34 in the last 34 matches. So,
Well, and that's the thing. I think they have to do something with him because supposedly he's the enforcer of the bloodline. And so that's why I think he gets involved. Now, maybe Jay still overcomes it at the end of the day, but I do think he gets involved in this match.
yeah, I
Because
think. I don't
remember,
think The Rock,
he's their brother. So this is a perfect match for him to get involved in.
true. I don't think The Rock gets involved because I think coming from The Rock's, The Rock has been every week, but there's one thing he hasn't done is wrestle. He's probably going to be in the back pretty nervous, focused on his match and all that. I could just see that happening.
I don't think The Rock's going to be 1 ounce of nervous.
You don't think so?
The Rock's not going to be nervous.
No.
I just don't see him coming
If
out.
anything, he's going to be like this, remember?
Yeah, that's true.
Goosebumps.
So I'm going to say Jay wins.
Okay.
All right, next match. Final 3 matches here of night 1. Intercontinental Championship. Gunther versus Sami Zayn, who, we all know how I feel about this match. Bob, what do you think?
Gunther's going to chop him down.
Okay, simple as that. The reign
But
continues.
this
Uh-oh, I
goes
know
to
where
my
you're
other
going.
point.
I know where you're going.
Damian Priest is going to cash in against Gunther because they already said the Judgment Day was coming after the Intercontinental title, and after they lose the tag titles, they're going to try to get the a title back.
Derek,
And I just don't think they're going to have Priest cash in on night 2 against the winner of Rollins and McIntyre or Rhodes and Reigns. I think they're going to let those winners actually enjoy their victories. So I think this is the one, and that's a good way to get the title off of Gunther, so you could get Gunther involved in a world title picture.
Interesting. Okay, Derek?
Like we talked about before, I know that nobody was really thrilled for this match. And Josh, P.S., it wouldn't have been any better if Chad Gable were in this. I want to just say that now. Wouldn't have been any better.
You don't know what you're talking about. That is
ridiculous. You've had no idea what you've been talking about since I've known you. So let's not have this discussion, okay?
Yeah, really? Should we go around some of the stuff you've said? Okay. Go ahead.
Anyway,
go ahead. Keep going.
So,
boy, good Lord.
Yeah,
You're like an old married couple.
Yep.
Bobby, can you hit that button again? I think now we need it. Thank you.
Shut up!
There we go.
Actually, that was for you, Josh.
You know what? I hate you, okay? I'm saying it on this show. I'm done. This is
Shut up!
God.
That makes me feel better. Okay, so
I want to hear what you got. So go ahead and say what you got to say here, Derek. Because
Gunther's gonna win. I didn't think that Sammy was gonna win, even when we talked about this kind of the first time around. And these past couple of weeks have only reinforced that for me. I don't know about Priest because I did make a point here that I can't see Roman losing and Gunther losing the same event. I don't know if I can get that through my head at this point. But I do like the idea of Priest cashing in against Gunther. That's very creative.
Well, what if Gunther still wins even though he cashes in? But I mean, I just think that would make for an interesting storyline simply because they said they were coming after the Intercontinental title.
Yeah. Could be right. It'd be very, very interesting if that did happen.
I mentioned this to Josh the other day. What if Chad Gable somehow gets involved and costs Sammy the match?
Also an interesting piece of business.
Yeah.
because we saw him get knocked out, or did we see him get knocked out? All we saw was him come out and get laid out, or he was laid out already on Raw. So what if he was playing possum?
It's an interesting point. The other point here is how long you think Gunther's going to stay a face. I mean, heel, excuse me, before he turns face. I think he's on his way.
You think so?
Yeah, I think people are going to start really getting behind him now because he's too awesome. He's too dominant.
The Ring General.
So this is my question. So I've got Gunther obviously winning this match. So in a way, I like Bob's idea. However, if like you're Damian Priest, are you waiting all this time to go for the IC title though? Wouldn't you want to go for the world title? Now, this is what I think. If he were to go for the world title, and obviously I'll give a prediction later, but I think Rollins would win, and then Priest would come out and cash in that way if he wanted to go for the world title. I think it's interesting about Gunther and him coming out and challenging Gunther based on what they said.
Okay, Josh,
he's held it for a year.
You said something there wrong.
What?
You're like, well, do you think he's waited all this time just so he could cash it in for the Intercontinental title? He's going to cash it in whoever they book him to cash it in again.
I know that. I'm not going to sit there and say it on the pod. I'm just saying, if you're somebody,
he's got no choice in the matter.
No, but again, wouldn't he go to Hunter and be like, look, I really would like a title shot. He's a big guy who
he doesn't have a choice in it. And to turn around, if you were to turn around and beat Gunther, that's still a big deal.
Yeah, if you can make the argument that Intercontinental title has had more stock put into it now than it has in decades.
Yeah.
At least 25 years. At least 20, probably more than that, right?
Yeah, and taking it off Gunther is a big deal.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think Gunther, yeah, like you said, he's made that title relevant again. And the fact that Damian Priest and the Judgment Day said they were coming after it. Right. I'm just saying it would make sense for him to cash in against Gunther. Now, again, it doesn't mean that's going to happen. I just think that it's a possibility.
Okay, got it. The next match is the Women's World Championship. Becky Lynch, the challenger, and Rhea Ripley, the champ, who's been a champ for a year now. I think this match is going to open up WrestleMania. That's been like the rumor. I don't know. I just think that's what they're going to do. Derek, who do you like in this match and why?
First of all, I called that. I said that on the podcast that it was night one, match one. Thank you. Look it up. You are welcome. Okay. Secondly,
that's a smart man right there. Dude.
Secondly, Mommy's going to stand on the mountaintop. She's going to slam Becky right into that mat.
Okay.
It's going to be awesome. This is like, if this is opening it, I'm already going to lose my mind because I'm a huge fan of both of these two. And this has big business written all over it. But I have to say, I think because of Becky's book tour coming up,
yeah, and
the fact that you can't really do both. I don't think you can do a book tour and keep on the road traveling for, Raws and live events and things of that nature. And the fact that Rhea is going to lock herself in as a babyface after this, I think I'm going with Mommy.
Okay. What about you, Bob?
Mommy. That's right. Mommy
stays champ.
Why do you think she stays champ?
Because pretty much like what Derek said, she's practically a face. I mean, she's a face in a heel faction, sure. And the crowd just loves her. And this isn't a knock on Becky because this was Becky a few years ago. She was in that same spot. But right now, this is Rhea's division, and I don't think they take the title off of her right now. I think this is an opportunity to just continue to cement Rhea there. I wouldn't be surprised if Dom somehow got involved, but I don't think that'll happen. I really do think this is going to be one-on-one, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. this has the potential to be the second best match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying necessarily because it's going to be the most high flying or anything like that. It's going to be electric. The crowd is going to love this one, I think. And I think they're really going to get into it. I think this is going to be kind of like what Rhea and Charlotte was last year, where they put on a really good match and it was just electric, that whole match. I think this is going to be similar to that. I think Rhea wins it.
Okay. I agree with you guys. I would probably be shocked if Becky won it. And the only reason I would say that she'd win it is because of the book tour and them wanting her as champ on this tour. You know what I mean? Still, though, I think Rhea wins. And as both of you were talking, I was thinking, I was going to ask Bob this question. If Rhea wins, who will eventually beat Rhea? And in my head, I'm like, oh, God, please don't have it be Charlotte. You know, when she comes back to do that.
No.
I think something needs to happen where she loses it in a controversial fashion because she's so good.
I already like Derek's idea. Derek mentioned this before.
About
Dom
which
goes off with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is potentially could be the one to take the title off.
That
And
could
Dom
be
goes
so
with her.
interesting. And it's good storytelling.
You really are dirty Dom, aren't you?
Mommy started ignoring me. She wasn't taking care of me anymore.
Could be very good. You're right. And Liv Morgan's not on the show. Interesting.
No, she's not. But
It won't happen in WrestleMania.
No, they're gonna wait for that. You need to give the crowd a reason to cheer Rhea fully. I think immortalize her at Mania to get that win over Becky. After that, give the crowd a reason, and they will immediately get behind her.
Well, here's the other reason why I think Rhea's going to win is because, like you said, they need to kind of build that up a little bit, and they've already established that Liv Morgan's coming after Rhea. They've already established that, and it wouldn't make sense for her to come after Rhea if Rhea doesn't have the title. So you want to build that up. So Rhea's got to win this match.
All right. Got it. And the main event of night one, folks, we have The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I believe if The Rock and Reigns win, it's bloodline rules the next night between Cody and Roman Reigns. Is that right?
Yep.
And then what happens if Cody and Seth win? Do we have any stipulations?
Yeah,
The
it's a fair
bloodline.
fight.
Yeah, bloodline stays out of it.
Fight. Okay.
Yeah.
Are they barred from ringside though? If they win?
Yeah, they can't.
Thanks.
Bubba Rowe!
Have you been watching the show the last few weeks?
I have. I just didn't realize about the Cody and Seth that they had any other type of stipulation. All right. So,
How old are you, kid? 11? 12?
oh my God, are you annoying? Jeez. Oh my God. It's like losing my mind every 5 seconds. My God. All right. Who do you think's going to win this, Bob?
All right. I told you the other day, Josh, that I thought Cody and Seth were going to win this. I think that it was going to be a fair fight on night one, or I mean on night two. But now that I think about it, I could see The Rock and Roman winning this match, and the Rock somehow. Well, I'll get into that in a minute, but I really do think that there's a possibility they could win this thing. So I'm going to go with Rock and Reigns.
Derek?
The intros are going to win because they're going to take a half hour.
No kidding. Oh my God.
They took like 45 minutes the other night before we got into any matches on Raw.
And people love The Rock's entrance, by the way. People have been asking me to talk about that Rock entrance from the other night.
All the entrances are awesome. I can't deny that. They're all going to be
It's
big
going to take a little too long.
Well, yeah, just a little bit. I think it's going to be Rock and Roman, and I'm going to stand by what I said before. I think Rock's going to pin Cody.
Okay.
I can't. What would happen if The Rock pins Seth. That just doesn't make really much
Right.
of sense. But I'll tell you what will happen to Seth during that match. Did you think I'd forgot about you, lad?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You took your eye off the ball, Seth. You were selfish.
Yeah. I told you I was going to drag you to the ring if I had to.
I need to
good.
beat some sense into you.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got Rock and Roman.
What do you think, Josh?
God. I'm going to say Rock and Roman win. However, it's funny, Derek. I want to take you back to memory lane. Do you remember in college when we'd watch wrestling and Monday Night Raw would happen, and whoever got the last laugh or attack someone, what would happen?
Then the flip side would get the win.
Right.
But that was then. This is now.
Right.
That's not the same
I agree
thing.
with you. And I think in order for what I think might happen in the main event, I'm just going to say The Rock and Roman will win.
Okay.
That's what I think. And then we'll talk about it. All right. So that was night one. A lot of matches on night one.
We all said Rock and Roman, didn't we? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes, we all picked that. And then let's look at night two. So night two, not as many matches.
Not as many matches, one less.
Is it one less? I thought it's a little bit less.
Oh, by the way, it's one less as of now. You don't know if they got some pulled up their sleeve too.
They might add a SmackDown match, from this last SmackDown going in, that maybe they throw something together.
Or some guy like Grayson Waller gets out there, starts running his mouth, and somebody we haven't seen in a while decides to show up and handle some business.
All right. So night two, Sunday night, we have Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins versus a team I could see Derek loving, the Final Testament, Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor, who just came back to WWE this year, right, Derek? Well, I guess late last year.
Yeah.
So anyway, Derek, why don't you lead us off here? Who do you think's going to win this match and why?
I'm not that big of a Final Testament fan, just as an FYI.
No, okay. Okay, I don't know why I thought you'd like the name and who you'd like Karrion Kross, I thought.
I did, but things just aren't working out for him. It's just not clicking for whatever reason. It's just not happening. See, I need to go back to the concession stand. I gotta go.
You gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta get another soda.
Another Sunkist.
Yes, and I think this is a Philadelphia street fight.
It doesn't say, but yeah, I think this was the one.
Something about that.
Yes, it's a Philadelphia street fight.
Yeah, okay. That's not going to help anything.
That's not a rumor. It's a Philadelphia street fight.
Sir and or madam.
Sir and or madam.
I guess the Final Testament should win because Bobby and the Street Profits will be fine. They'll find something else to, get involved with. I don't know what that group's going to do if they don't win, except go away.
Right.
So I think I'm going to go with the Final Testament only because what the hell else is going to happen?
Okay.
Yep.
Bob?
You hear that toilet flushing? Because this is my bathroom break right here.
Oh, okay.
It's like, this is your concession break. This is my bathroom break. Unless it's the opening match, then
I bet it will be.
Just finish your taxes and join when you can.
Yeah, good point. You know what? I really don't care about this match either. But I'm gonna say Lashley and the Street Profits win it.
Okay, I agree with Bob. I just think Lashley and the Street Profits win.
Okay.
Yeah. Could we see any type of maybe Montez Ford turning on his partners? Maybe, Rick Martel, Tito Santana, maybe. So, because that guy's got a lot of talent.
Down the line.
Okay.
I don't think it happens here.
No.
Okay.
Down the line.
All right. The next match is with one of my favorite wrestlers, AJ Styles, versus LA Knight.
Yeah.
My God, that's funny. A couple months ago, my God, he was, until he fought Roman, he was the hottest thing going, and then not so much, which sucks. Anyway, Avo, who do you think?
I think LA Knight gets back on the train with this one. I like LA Knight to win this thing.
Okay.
I kind of what you just said. Yeah, a few months ago, he was one of the hottest things. Now we all knew he was going to lose to Roman. No, there was no way he was going to beat Roman, but he was the hottest thing. And I think they want to try to get him back up there because at the end of the day, he's still pretty good. The problem with LA Knight is that LA Knight, part of what made him so good is that he was like a relic from the Attitude Era or something like that, with the way his promos were. And all of a sudden now you got The Rock, who was in the Attitude Era, back, and he's doing it better.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that hurts LA Knight, but I do think they try to get him back on the victory train and get his momentum going again. So I think he wins it.
Mr. Tandro, who do you think?
Tell him whose game this is. Mr. Knight is going to win this one with everybody saying, and I think it's to the point. Yes, thank you. Should have known. Thank you, Bob. I think LA Knight is still very, very popular. I think the problem is, one, what Bob said, and two, he loses to LA Knight. He's got this time after that where he's not really doing much, and the next time you see him is in a fatal 4-way. And that's after Randy Orton returns. That's when The Rock came back. He got a little bit lost in the shuffle. But I think you can instantly get him back into the sway of things, especially with a match like this. It's kind of nice to see LA Knight actually in just a big grudge match, just a fight. So I like the booking. I think it's great. And I think I'm going to go with Mr. Knight for this one.
Okay. You guys know I love AJ. I kind of agree with you guys. I think LA Knight wins this match. I think for the reasons you said, and I also think AJ's contract's coming up. And I don't think he has re-signed anything yet. And I don't know. Also, it would be cool, Derek would probably know this, what his record is at Mania. Does he, for some reason in my brain, I'm thinking he wins every other year since he started Mania. Didn't he lose to Jericho? Then he beat Nakamura. I know he lost to Taker. And then, who did he wrestle last year? Do you remember?
He beat Shane one year, didn't he?
He beat Shane one year. Who did he wrestle last year?
He didn't.
Oh, he was injured.
Yeah, he didn't wrestle.
That's right. He was injured. So I don't know. So would I be surprised if he won? No, not at all. It's just LA Knight, like Bob and you were saying, was so hot. And I don't know what happened because, yes, we all knew he was going to lose to Reigns. Maybe it was just the wrong time for him to wrestle Reigns, I guess. Maybe they needed...
No, they just needed somebody to wrestle Reigns, and he was very hot. That's what it was. Because
then
look, at the end of the day, the tribal chief, he smashed them all. I mean, I've told you that. He has smashed them all. And Josh wants him to defend the title every single day against people that he's already beaten. And so LA Knight was a fresh face to have him fight. And I will say I did like that contract signing that LA Knight did with Roman Reigns, where you see Roman come out and he starts holding up the title, and all of a sudden LA Knight's music hits and he just walks right past him and doesn't even acknowledge him. And you see Paul Heyman like, that's not right.
He can't do that.
Can't do that.
And then when he goes up to and he's getting the table ready, all of a sudden, or the chair, he goes to pull it out, and all of a sudden, LA Knight sits down in it.
Bob, what has Roman Reigns done all this time? What has he done?
He's just smashed them all.
Just like you smashed that crumble cookie earlier today. There we go.
Was that supposed to be funny?
I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah.
Get him.
All right. Next match. United States Championship triple threat. Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. Just want to say, very random thing. I saw the odds on this match, and they've got Logan Paul winning, which shocked me.
Not me.
Derek, go ahead. What do you think?
Logan retains because RKO and KO are going to have themselves a little fight.
Okay.
I think the Kevin Owens has been, speaking of guys who've gotten a little lost in the shuffle. Exactly. Thank you for confirming that. So since Kevin Owens has been a little bit lost in the shuffle, he needs to get a little. Do you want to finish doing what you're doing, Josh? What are we doing?
I did nothing. Go ahead and continue.
All right, fine.
You got to make it fun.
So, I think that Kevin Owens has lost some steam and needs it back. So, I think a way to really get that done is to get in a feud with Randy. Randy could use a good feud too. He hasn't really had a true one yet since he's been back.
No, it's true.
He got into War Games and then a Fatal 4-Way, and then it's been a little bit of nothing since this. You got a chamber match, you know?
He did. I'll say this. Bob had a great response to this as to why he feels Logan Paul's going to win. Go for it.
Well, thank you for telling him what I was going to say, so I appreciate it.
Hey, I just said you had a great response. I didn't say what you were going to say.
Shut up!
God help me. God help me. God. Is it wrong that I want a virus to hit your computer and just destroy everything?
I would hope not. That's where the stream is running from here.
I was about to say, there goes the podcast.
No, I'll take it over. Go ahead.
You can barely find a cord to plug your computer into, Josh.
You know what, Derek? Don't start. Don't start. Yeah.
Hey, that's okay, Josh. He's doing it from his garage there. So.
How do you like that?
The garage. It looks like you're held hostage, Derek. Look at that. God. It looks like he's been, just like you're in your garage. You got a laundry basket.
Expecting them to waterboard him down there.
I think we need to have a tour of Derek's garage next week. Good God.
Shove you in the back with the rest of the stuff here.
He's looking for his captors right there. He's like,
yep.
We know he's married because he's got a lot of the stuff. He's like, yep, got storage here.
I'm captured by awesomeness.
Gosh, Josh. He's flexing.
Why do you have to ruin it like that? Why do you have to throw yourself into it like that?
You know what? Because I want to, okay? I want to, and that's it. Okay, go ahead, Bob.
That's pretty cute. How old are you, kid? 11? 12?
All right. So, I do think Logan Paul is going to win this match, and I told Josh that the reason I think is, first off, I think that the U.S. title is beneath Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton, the next time he holds a title, it's going to be a world title. When I think of Randy Orton, I don't think of the U.S. championship. I don't think of an Intercontinental championship, and that's not knocking either one of those titles. But when I think of Randy Orton, I think of world heavyweight champion. And so for that reason, I don't think Orton's going to win this. And I agree with you, Derek. I think that somehow KO and Orton are going to cost each other this match. And then Logan Paul is going to take advantage of it. And somehow that's how he's going to win. Plus, let's be honest. Logan he's a great heel. Mm-hmm. He's
and a good wrestler.
You know, when he first came around, nobody wanted to give him any credit because it was like this outside guy is coming in. But I'll say this, he's pretty dedicated to trying to perform, and he'll put his body on the line. And then as far as being a heel, the fact that he's got this social media persona, he's able to really lean into that heel gimmick that he's got. So I think he's going to hold on to the title.
I got to agree with you guys based on, what you guys have said. Interesting take I just heard the other day. Do you know who Kevin Owens has been begging to wrestle against at Mania?
Oh,
Shawn Michaels has been like calling him up, begging him, saying, "Do one more match, let's wrestle." And Michaels,
that ain't happening.
won't do it.
Nice.
Michaels won't do it. So I think we're gonna get an Orton versus Kevin Owens match. Who do you guys think? Randy Orton the face and KO's gonna be the heel?
No, I think the two of them are going to be. Oh, you mean down the line or in this
Yeah,
match?
down the line. No, down the line.
Okay, down the line, I think. I don't know. I think that could easily be a face versus face match.
Interesting. Derek?
I'll say Kevin Owens is the heel because he can be a great jerk. He
Yeah.
can be awful.
But so can Orton, though. So can Orton.
Yeah,
but Orton right now is he's too hot
Over.
to turn.
You forget if Cody wins, he's going to need somebody to face.
Yeah.
True.
Do that down the line.
Yeah, true. All right. All right. Next match is, God, this next match drives me crazy. You both know this. WWE Women's Championship. Io Sky versus Bayley. Just combine the two titles. It's like I feel bad for Bayley on this match. I just everyone's talking about Rhea and Becky Lynch, but yet Bayley wins the Rumble, but nobody cares, and it drives me crazy. One title. That's all we need for the women. And let that, like Bobby has said for years, let them go to each show.
Yeah, you let your heavyweight champs for both the men's, the women's division, and the tag titles, because they already do it for the tag titles. You turn around and you let them go from show to show, and you just have one champ from each one, and then whoever they lose to, they replace them on that show. That's the way it should easily be. And then as far as the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title, you could keep those two, one on each show.
So give us a winner, Bob, on this one.
Bayley.
Okay, yeah.
I think I think they've built her up, or they're building her back. I wouldn't be surprised if she comes out to her hugger music.
Could happen, yeah.
And that they have all the balloons going, and whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised if she did that for the 40th anniversary, and I think she's going to win it. But I agree with you, Josh. I don't think anybody cares, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's sad.
Or I shouldn't say nobody cares, but not as many people care. And I think what will happen is I think Bayley wins it, and then down the line, she loses to Rhea, and they combine the titles. Yeah. At least I hope they do.
But Derek, what do you think?
To your point, Josh, to your point, I mean, I understand the points about the titles here, but the titles got nothing to do with this. This story went down the toilet the minute Bayley started speaking Japanese. Just, I mean, after that, it was just like,
that's Japanese.
Yeah,
I learned it over the last year.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, great. Rosetta Stone, like what does that have to do with anything? Or if you're gonna do that,
Rosetta Stone reference.
Like, yeah, can't you do something that make this a little bit more interesting? But the minute that happened, this was dead in the water. And unfortunately, like you said, Josh, I mean, Bayley wins the Rumble. There's all this, hype behind her because people really wanted her to win.
Yeah.
And then once that happened, fizzle. Done.
The problem with Bayley's whole thing here is this was easily one of the most predictable storylines that they could have come up with.
Sure.
I mean, everybody knew Damage Control was going to turn on her. I mean, it was so obvious. They're sitting back there going, I mean, of course they're going to turn on her. I mean, how else was that going to go?
Yeah, but that could have been done better too, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
There's that just was the wrong way to do the end of the relationship with Bayley and Damage Control. And
it's too bad because I do think Bayley deserves to get the title put on her. And
a lot of people do.
You know what if they turned around and had they just had one world champion, but had maybe a second women's title, like an Intercontinental or a U.S. championship, but it'd be like the women's U.S. championship or something like that. Just to have kind of a workman's title for the women's division. Because here's the thing, the women's division is not big enough to have 2 titles. It's just not. And that's why you should only have one going back and forth between the shows.
Yeah, like to your point, if you're just make one champion for each of them. I don't even think you need 2 titles. I don't even think you need to do the draft. Combine the belts and end it.
We've hated the draft for years. We've hated the draft for 20 years.
I know, but I'm talking to your point about the titles, right? Then just combine all the belts, knock this off, and then we won't have this issue. But they seem stubborn on this, so I guess we're going to have to live with it more. But to answer your question, I think Io's going to win because I think they're going to keep dragging this out.
Wow, that's a shock.
Yeah.
I think Bailey wins. I agree with Bob on, but that could be interesting. Okay, well,
I think they're gonna try to keep this up and going and going and going, and I just see it happening because this can't be the one and done for Bailey and Damage Control. This has to end in a much more violent fashion. This could have been a Hell in a Cell too, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to keep this up. And I'm not sure how it's going to end. I think eventually Bailey will get the belt, but I don't think it's going to happen here.
No, Derek, I mean, I can appreciate that. I mean, you're wrong, but I can appreciate it. So.
All right. So the final 2 matches, call it a double main event even. So we have the World Heavyweight Championship. We have Seth Rollins defending against Drew McIntyre. I think this match is opening up Mania Night 2. I think if you've got the other title match closing it, we need this to open it.
I don't think it's going to open it.
Really?
I don't.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Bob. Tell us, who do you think is going to win this match? Why? And maybe why you don't think it'll open the pay-per-view.
Reason I don't think it's going to open the pay-per-view is Seth wrestled the night before. I can't see him being the one to open the next show. And so I just think that they'll be the next to the last match. I really do think they're going to treat it like a double main event, and they're going to go right before Cody and Reigns. So I'm going to say McIntyre's going to win because I do think they're going to put the title on him in front of a live crowd. He has done too much right as of right now. I do think Rollins they've kind of hinted that he needs to take some time away to heal up. So this is a good way to do it. And you give Drew the opportunity he didn't get, which was to hold the title with a live audience.
Okay. Sounds good. What about you, Derek?
I don't care if I go on first or second to last. I want what's mine.
Need my WWE championship back. Cody, you have to finish the story so I can go win my WWE championship. That's what I love is that he turns around. You go fight him so I can win this.
Cody, you did the right thing. I am so proud of you.
So good.
I do want to see Drew win badly. I'm such a Drew fan. Just the idea of him being world champion is enough to make you want to tune in every single week because you know what he's going to do what he's already doing is great. So why not put a belt on him?
Plus, you want to turn around and build up to a match between him and Punk.
There's that too.
Yeah.
I will say this though. If Drew wins, that's great. If Seth wins, that's when I think Priest could cash in. Yeah, I don't think he's going to cash in if Drew wins. That's not going to go over well.
I agree with you there. Like I do think Priest cashes in against Gunther, but I do agree with you. If he's going to cash in for WrestleMania and he doesn't do it against Gunther, the other option would be only if Seth wins.
Yeah,
because I don't think
what it is. He's not step. He better not step his feet anywhere near that Cody and Roman situation at all.
Yeah, that would piss the audience off way too much, and the same thing would go here.
Yep. So I think that's the opening is if Seth wins, unless he does cash in on Gunther, which again, very interesting.
Could
Very
happen.
interesting. So if Seth wins, I think Priest cashes in. But it would really be great if Drew would win. It would be so good.
Right.
Um,
I think I have followed McIntyre's career, when he was in three-man band and went to TNA and came back to WWE and performed in front of nobody. My God, has that guy reinvented himself now?
what are you,
I
a
want him to
stalker?
win.
Knock it off. Stop looking at me stuff.
I want him to win, have a great title, reign. God, the stuff he's doing now with the Punk and being at the cemetery and the shirts. And just
Well, yeah, he wears one shirt and then he rips it off and he's got another one on.
I know, he is so good. And
You
yes,
complete me, Punk. I am not angry with you. I don't hate you. You
Boo this
complete
man.
me.
you have to finish the story, Cody. Just so
great.
good. It's great. And again, just like I told you guys earlier, if Rollins wins, it's Damien is cashing in. I think that's a mistake for him to cash in on Drew because he is just so over as a heel right now. You can't do it.
No.
Don't do it. Stay away from it. Let him win the title, have a nice title reign. And I think that could be very good, especially with who we maybe think is going to win the Universal title. And I think those guys, I don't know, I can just like it. Both hard workers, defend the titles. But yeah, my pick is McIntyre.
Punk and Drew don't necessarily have to be for a belt either. That could just be
No.
bloodthirsty feuding. It could work that way.
It could. It just depends when Punk comes back,
Hey, Punk's going to be at ringside. What if he gets involved in the match?
I don't think he can physically yet.
He
Would be-
doesn't
Right there?
have to physically get in. He can just turn around and be a distraction.
Could
Yeah. If he were to try to get involved, what's he going to do? Hit him with a brace? Like what?
be. Yeah, and then that would be I don't know. I don't think that happens. I don't think
No.
that can happen.
I think if anything, he may cause one of them to turn, to keep their eye off the ball.
That's
Maybe
what I'm saying. He can be a distraction.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he can physically do anything, though. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I maybe they get him involved in that way, and that could be how maybe he costs McIntyre the match.
That's
Rollins
what I was thinking.
wins, and then
Yeah.
Priest comes in and cashes in against Rollins.
Because the other thing that I was thinking about here is that, well, if Drew loses, then do you just go right to Punk after that? Because he's going to need a little bit more time until he can get his hands on Punk. So
Yeah, not till August or September. So
yeah. So
Hey, but one thing we know about Drew McIntyre is he holds on to grudges.
yes,
So-
he does very well.
Jay,
well,
I only wanted an apology. Why would you come over here to?
is he giving us a Roddy Piper type of feel, like with the cockiness and the confidence?
He's something
No?
completely different. Look,
No,
'cause
he's-
if anything, he reminds me more of the heel Bret Hart in that he thinks he's doing the right thing. Because
Interesting.
in McIntyre's mind, or in his character's mind, he's the same Drew McIntyre he's always been, and now just the audience is booing him. That's all.
Interesting. Okay.
So, and that's kind of how the heel Bret Hart was in his mind. Nobody changed except the American audience.
Right.
So,
Okay. All right. So that match. Now let's talk about the second part of that main event. We have Roman Reigns, the champion who's been champ for 4 years. Acknowledge me. Who has smashed everyone according to Robert Franklin Smith Jr.
oh yeah,
versus
I'm way off base here. Has he not?
the American. Yes, you're right.
That's
Versus
right.
The
You see?
American Nightmare. Would you let me finish my introduction? My God.
Shut up!
Stop. Good God. Versus the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
He says I'm talking a lot, and he's turning around going on these 30-minute introductions to each match.
You know what, Derek? You go ahead because I just can't hear Bobby's voice right now. I need a 10-minute break. Go ahead. Who do you think wins this match and why? And
Okay.
Talk to us.
I'm pretty confident it's Cody. I'm pretty confident. We've talked about this before. If they don't pay this off now, it ain't getting paid off.
Right.
I came to this conclusion that everybody keeps saying about finish the story. I am of the opinion that this story is going to end one way or the other if Cody wins or loses. If he loses, the story's done. The fans aren't going to willing to wait another year again. I understand that it's been great business to get us to wait that year, and Cody's looked stronger as a result. It's been a beautiful, beautiful piece of business, making him look strong. But if you're asking fans to do that for 2 years, they're not going to have that kind of patience. They won't. I don't think they're going to. Cody could probably even survive it, but I don't think they're going to have the patience for it.
Got it.
And so knowing that, you have to pay it off. I think it's just time. I think fans are ready to see it. They've been ready to see it. I'm gonna ask this question a little bit later, so I won't get into that piece now. But it seems like it's the right thing to do at this juncture. So that's why I feel pretty confident. I'm gonna ask you guys a question here in a minute. You guys give me your thoughts.
Okay, Bob.
First off, I think this match opens night 2. And
There we go. He needs the jokes. He's got to make himself feel good. Got to tell a joke
because you got to open the night strong.
Yep. CM Punk will also be commentating.
Yes. No. So I think I agree with you, Derek. I just don't see any way they can not pay this off. Now, I did say that I thought Rock and Roman were going to win night. I thought they were going to win night 1. I think you're going to see the bloodline rules. I do think that The Rock is going to be heavily involved in this match. I think he's going to beat the snot out of Cody, but I do think he's going to turn on Roman and he's going to take control of the bloodline. And he's going to have Cody win somehow, whether it's inadvertently or intentionally. But I think he's going to turn around and turn on Roman and set himself up to be the leader of the bloodline, whether that be him actually hit Roman or Roman is looking for some help and he holds the rest of the bloodline back. One way or another, I think he takes control of the bloodline. And I think that sets up a feud with Roman later. But I also think that by letting Cody win and him turning on Roman, that sets up the feud with him and Cody down the line, so he can truly be the final boss for Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
So even though Rhodes would be champ, he still has to overcome The Rock. So, and after all, The Rock would have pinned him. So The Rock can then turn around and say that I pinned you, Cody Rhodes. I'm coming after that championship.
Okay, interesting. So a year ago, Bob asked me who did I think was going to win, Cody or Roman, and I was like, we should have Bob do the impression of me. Go ahead, Bob. What did I say?
He was like, Cody, Cody, woo! And I told him, Josh, I'm telling you, I just got this feeling.
No,
Reigns is going to win this one.
3 days before he told me.
I'll tell you what happened. See, everybody wanted Cody to win so badly that we want him to win so badly turned into, well, he's got to win now, right? And I kept saying the same thing Bob did. I'm like, you don't know that. You're getting awfully confident with something that we're not entirely sure about.
And they made the right decision because they were able to build that up throughout the year.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to say it again this year. I think Cody wins for various reasons. One of the things we didn't say is, my God, the guy is on the 2K video game and it says finish the story. how do you? I mean, that's a moneymaker. You know what I mean? How do you not let the guy finish the story? It sets it up perfectly.
You're right, Josh. It's just been a lot of setup. And to not pay it off, like Derek said, the audience isn't going to wait. You got to pay this off this time.
No. Even if they say, oh, well, he'll finish the story eventually. No. Him finishing the story at like SummerSlam wouldn't work. Him finishing the story next year, no. No one's going to believe in them.
And it doesn't make sense to finish it against anybody else. He is the company's top face.
Yes.
Before The Rock came in, Roman Reigns was the top heel, and Roman's been champ for 4 years now, or closing in on 4 years. This is the time to pay it off.
This is what I think is going to happen in the match. I think The Rock's going to come down. All of them are actually going to attack, Cody, and all of a sudden that glass hits. Austin comes down, starts attacking The Rock. I think Cena comes down, attacks everyone else. Cody nails the crossroads on Roman. Match over.
Okay, Cena I can see. Why would Austin, just because he feuded with The Rock, that's it?
Yeah, I think because they showed it the other day on the truck, and they want, surprises.
I understand where you're going with it, Josh, and I think it would make sense maybe a couple years ago. I just don't think it's going to happen with Austin. Now, I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, but I do think it makes more sense for Cena to do it and actually get involved, especially with the way the whole thing ended with him and Solo. They got to redeem Cena in some way. And with it being the 40th anniversary, I just don't see Cena not being involved in some fashion, even if it was to come out and make an appearance. This would be a good way to get him involved.
Could we see Taker show up?
No.
Not there. No, that doesn't.
Not for the main event.
No.
But yeah, so I think Cody will win it, have his WrestleMania moment. The Rock, like you guys said, has the victory over Cody the night before, and they wrestle at SummerSlam. I think eventually, God, I wish they would unify those titles and make it one title once again, especially with Cody being champ. But yeah, based on what I told you guys before, I would love to have Cody as champ and McIntyre as champ.
I didn't get a chance to tell you how I think it ends.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I think it's going to be very Avengers Endgame. I think Sammy's going to come in. KO's going to come in. LA Knight's going to come in. Who else?
Really?
Yeah,
you're onto something there, Derek. Anybody who's had problems with the bloodline,
they're all going to show up.
That could be really cool.
Cena's going to be the last one. Cena's going to wrap everything up. So it's all of them together, and they're all going to end it. And
I could see, what's his name? Roman taking an RKO.
Yep.
Taking a stunner from KO, turning around, taking the 5-knuckle shuffle and the attitude adjustment.
You said you could see Roman doing that. I think that's going to happen to The Rock.
Oh, you could be right there too.
Yep. So then the final boss gets beaten by all of them. We can save Cody and Rock for SummerSlam for the title. And then I think down the line, I think Roman's going to stay a heel, and then it'll be Rock and Roman next year. The year after that is actually when I think Roman does turn face, whenever that happens in 2026, because that's when I think Solo is going to commit mutiny and take the bloodline from him.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. But yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting Mania. God, if Cody loses, oh my God!
Okay, that's the question. That's the question I got to ask. What if?
Okay, go ahead, Josh. You let me know what your what if is if he loses.
What if Cody loses? I think it hurts the business. I think if you're a fan, do you put your trust into WWE? Say Hunter goes to the press conference after and says, "Well, we just haven't finished the story yet. We have something else planned." They've done so much with this. It's like, how do you not it would take it away. No matter what would happen, it would just be weird. Like, here's this guy wrestling for an entire year. Excuse me, beaten Lesnar, right? That's what Bob said. Actually, after last year, Bob was like, think about it, Josh. Now he's going to have to fight these guys and win. So he's really earned it. So then if he comes in and loses to Reigns, are you kidding me? I mean, I think that would just be so bad for business.
So, here's what I think.
Yeah.
I've only seen a couple of things be as bad as what that could be.
Yeah.
And those things were The Last Jedi,
Yes.
The Rise of Skywalker, where they took everything that had been set up before and literally wiped their butt with the scripts and flushed them down the toilet and came up with something that was absolute garbage. Or possibly Game of Thrones Season 8, where they took everything that had been set up before and just paid none of it off. Yeah, so it would be that epic level of bad if they turned around and did this, because they have built this thing up and they've set everything up. Not first off with Cody losing last year, then throughout the year he had problems with the bloodline. He had that stare down with Roman when he and Jay were tag team champs. He ends up winning the Rumble. They build up this whole thing with The Rock. Then they set up the tag match. It's just been too much set up that if they don't pay it off, I just don't see how. I could honestly see it hurting the business in some way, whether it be through ratings or something, because I could literally see the fans being pissed off.
Could there be a screw job? Could there be any type of screw job with this, or no?
I don't think there's going to be. I think and then how could it really be a screw job if it's bloodline rules? Assuming that it is that way.
Anything goes to begin with, so kind of hard to have a screw job there. The screw job was last year.
Yeah.
Well, but say this, Derek. You have a great point in saying that what if Sammy comes in? What if KO comes in? What if Randy Orton comes in? Mm-hmm. Well, The Rock could sit there and say, I'm sorry, we said it was bloodline rules. Only bloodline members were allowed to be in the match.
Nope, he said anything goes.
Yep.
Okay.
Anything goes.
Then we're fine.
Yep.
Then we're fine. All right, Derek, what do you think happens if Cody loses to the tribal chief?
It'll go to the business point first, where there will be, because right now there's two sets of fans because WWE is on such fire. There's fans like us that are always going to watch, right? But those fans are going to unleash an unholy amount of hell on social media to a point where it's just going to make them look awful. Right. Or there's the casual fan who just kind of got into this because they thought it was cool, and then they're going to be like, "Oh, he won," and they're going to leave. So that's where the viewership's going to take the hit. Then after that, who does Roman face? To your point, Bob, he smashed them all. So who's left? Right. He's running out of options now. He's going to beat these guys twice? You're just going to start it all over again?
Yeah, he's got to lose this one. And I hate to say that because I like my tribal chief.
I love Roman Reigns. I
acknowledge my tribal chief. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they have to pay this off.
Now, the one thing I'm hoping that they're doing is figuring out what to do with Cody. I mean, we talked about The Rock and him at SummerSlam, but he's going to need somebody to feud with before that, too. And right now, there's not too many heels, so they're going to have to get crafty in terms of how they do that. AJ could be one of them. AJ could be one of them. Because doesn't he have to go to? I mean, this is.
He would have to go to SmackDown.
Yeah, I hate this. Now he's got to. Okay, now we got to play that game. So, but AJ could be one of them. He's one of the true heels they have right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see. Actually, a little bit of trivia for you both that I just saw the other day. Do you know that for WrestleMania 2, remember the main event, Hulk versus Bundy in the cage? McMahon hated the match so much, there wasn't another cage match until, what was it, WrestleMania 15?
That was Hell in a Cell.
Or Hell in a Cell, or even later than that. Isn't that crazy?
So there wasn't another cage match. You mean for WrestleMania?
For WrestleMania, there was not another cage match.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's an interesting tidbit. Yeah, he hated that match. Well, gentlemen, I think this was awesome. We gave everybody, our predictions. Why don't we go and do some social media? Baba, where can we find you?
You can find me over on YouTube at Was It Good at Bob Loves Movies. Right now, at 225 subscribers. And
Nice.
so
Nice.
it's growing slowly, but I'll put the link down in the description. So go ahead and check it out. Come see what we're talking about over there.
Okay, Derico?
Fill this up with prune juice and go hang out with my old friends over on LinkedIn and Facebook.
So good. And with me, you can find me. I'm the Family Man of the Valley. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, everything. Soon, hopefully, on YouTube as well. Anyway, it was a great show. Anyone who watches Mania, let us know in the comments how you like it. Also, maybe give us your predictions. And we will see you next week. Have a great week, everybody.
Talk to you guys later.
Later on.
Later.